A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and very good morning. Selamat pagi kepada semua yang hadir for this Star Talk Series 2. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Jadi tepukan kerana hadir pada hari ini. Thank you very much kerana together with us in Star Talk Series 2 Strategic Training Analysis for Remarkable Results. Before we continue, I have some friends together with us, Technical Training Institute and also Haikal, for accepting kalau kita ada kawan-kawan yang akan masuk lagi dekat dalam room kita ni, chat kita. So kita akan minta kepada kawan-kawan kita untuk admit untuk admit. Thank you very much. So before we proceed, I think congratulations ladies and gentlemen kerana berjaya hadir dalam sesi ni. Session is for us to share. Kita nak share tentang especially people in learning and development, sharing and getting the information spread out. Kita berkongsi tentang apakah itu learning and development, apakah elements within L&D and development. So before we proceed, can I have some feedback coming from you dalam ruangan chat? Dalam ruangan chat, please share your mood today. Apakah mood anda hari ini? Bagaimana? Letakkan di dalam bentuk emoji. Apakah mood anda hari ini? Supaya saya dapat tahu you are here together with me. Kita dapat dan juga is my voice clear for you? Okay, letakkan emoji letak emoji kat dalam tu. So voice saya clear, video saya clear, supaya tak adalah nanti kan saya cakap seorang-seorang kan, cakap dengan siapa seorang. So there are champions L&D champions, learning and development champions, orang-orang yang melihat kepada learning and development sebagai penyebaran ilmu supaya whatever that we do in this world is going to brought forward in akhirah nanti. So I hope that you have sufficient energy today, and because we are going to have another journey in L&D, we are going to look into the sprinkle of L&D magic. Apakah yang dibawa oleh L&D pada kali ini, yang dibawa oleh saya, supaya kita semua dapat belajar and improve day by day. Every day we need to improve at least 1% every day. Alright. So before we go further, I think we need also to look into siapa yang bercakap kan. Maybe some of you is not attending my session previously. As usual, I'm going to also share who am I supaya kita dapat tengok bagaimana untuk kita lebih baik dalam pada masa yang akan datang. So let us start our session, unleashing potential, the power of training needs analysis. So my name is Ahmad Zulkarnain. Again, introduction, salam perkenalan, salam madani kan sekarang sibuk dengan perkataan madani. Salam perkenalan, introduction from me. My name is Ahmad Zulkarnain bin Abdullah, dan boleh panggil saya Zul. Coming from as a senior head Technical Training Institute di RBHCom University of Automotive Malaysia, Pekan, Pahang. Live together dengan niat, my intention is to share with you whatever that I have, whatever exposure, experience that I have in some of my years in learning and development with all of you inside this room, so that we can develop ourselves better. Sometimes L&D ni dia develop orang lain tapi diri sendiri tak develop. So this is the opportunity for you to develop yourself, to get yourself be a better person in L&D. Currently as senior head Technical Training Institute ni, my role is more on managing the institute, and also I have my team. I have my team together with me, lovely team, lebih kurang 10 orang. Kita ada dekat Akademi Podesa juga lebih kurang 10 orang. So we have a team in creating programs, developing programs, and also managing people. And my team is always supporting me in terms of getting Technical Training Institute to move forward. Niat murni kita adalah bukan cikgu murni. Niat murni kita adalah to spread the ilmu, the knowledge that we have in the world to as many people as possible. So looking at that, the role of us in Technical Training Institute is to develop programs, training programs, consultancy, and also we have a training venue in Port Dickson. Before that, I'm in Human Capital Development Post Malaysia Berhad, Post Center of Development Bangi for 3 years. Before that, Academy Port Dickson for another 3 years, a total of around 10 years in DRB Group and around 20 years in HR and also L&D. So with this knowledge yang ada, sedikit knowledge yang ada, I'm going to share with you some of our perspective, some of what we did in Technical Training Institute and how we move forward. So by looking at that, there's a bit of introduction from me. We have a channel of communication in this Zoom. Kita ada chat. You can also have some emojis inside the what we call as apa yang kita panggil dalam emoji ni. Okay, ada sikit emoji if you want to do it. I have new emojis, you know, magic shortcuts. Antaranya ni I have this. I have this. I have also something to play and to look. Keluar tutup, buka tutup kan. So that's something that we can use. Kodong-kodong lah kan. So I'm using Canva. Canva boleh buat presentation over here and I'm controlling the Canva through my phone. So I can change the slide and also doing it better. So as L&D practitioners, I believe that when we conduct any training programs, bila kita conduct training programs dan we hope that L&D is well versed in the technology. I think you also, semua yang ada dekat sini pun memang L&D experts. You also need to well versed in Canva, how you use Canva, how you use your laptops. In online training session, I really looking forward for you to also on your camera if possible. Kalau dalam keadaan macam ni tak apa, it's okay because it's only 1 hour, less interaction pun. Tapi kalau if you're conducting any online session, make sure that you have a presentable video so that people can see your face. Okay. So looking at that, if anything that you want to get some clarification, you can ask and kita boleh bersoal jawab. However, we have only 1 hour kan. Jadi dekat hujung pun kita ada Q&A session for us to go better. So, let us go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, today is about the title of our session is on Unleashing Potential, the power of training needs analysis. Kita start dengan training needs analysis because of training needs analysis is the first portion of analysis in the AD model. So you know, I think you know the AD model. Analysis starts with analysis, design, develop, implement, evaluate, and also that's the AD model. I think I can write it in the chat box so that everybody can also be guided on that. Okay, the AD model, ADDIE, AD model is about analysis, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. So that's the AD model. I'm saying it. So kita start dengan analysis. That's why the power of training is analysis is very critical and very important. However, today is not the time for me to share the technicalities of how we are going to do TNA. I'm going to share the snapshot of it. So it's going to be the agenda for today. Hari ini kita akan sama-sama bincangkan tentang ini, tentang the agenda of overview of introduction or overview of TNA. Tertutup sikit muka saya kat situ. Introduction overview of TNA. What would be the perspective of TNA? Kemudian yang kedua, foundation or the principles of TNA. How we can see the principles of TNA and why we need to do TNA. Dan kenapa ramai di antara L&D they are doing TNA is for the sake of process, which we need to look into it seriously. We are not going to be effective if we do it is for the sake of doing it. It needs some elements of internalization of TNA. Okay, hari ni kita tengah tengok Number 3 is the process and also steps of TNA process. Ada banyak proses, ada banyak models of TNA. There are many models. So I'm going to share my perspective model about TNA, and you can also Google, ada banyak lagi model-model lain. You can choose whichever model that you want. Any models that you think that you can explore. And number 4 is about data collection methods and also techniques. There must be a reason. There must be a reason why data collection is very critical and very important. Because kalau tak ada data, macam mana untuk kita buat some decision, right? Okay, that's why. And then number 5, implementation. How we transform the analysis into action. Why? Actually, this is the moment is it's not only a process, it does some justification and reasoning behind that. So, as an introduction for this TNA, what we want to see is that the reason of TNA. I think everybody knows TNA stands for Training Needs Analysis. I don't want to bring the textbook definition. Saya tak nak bawa literature review of TNA. Tapi TNA is the starting process of the AD model. Starting process tu bermaksud whatever that you want to do, that you should start with an analysis, and from there you are going to discover many things. TNA is about looking into yourself, and you can also think that TNA is like a magnifying glass for success. You are going to look into the organizational development capabilities, melihat kat dalam satu organization, and the capability and also the knowledge development of that particular organization, and you can find a very detailed and minute information about why an organization, why your organization, why my organization is successful, and why we are not successful in operating of the learning culture. Last session kita cerita pasal pasal ecosystem kan. There are 5 ecosystem that I'm introducing to you, our perspective on ecosystem. So why this ecosystem is not being implemented well? So by having TNA is going to act as a magnifying glass for you to look at. And it is also to uncover to open up within your team the true training needs. Banyak sangat reason people are going to training just for the sake of interested for that particular title, and sometimes they are not looking into the looking into the the objective of the training. So by having that, this I want to highlight about this, because with TNA you will be able to dig deep inside that particular area, because by sending people to training, it is not a guesswork, it is not just guesstimation. You need to guess with certain analysis, with certain foundation. Jadi TNA will help you to make a targeted development programs for your people. And looking into that, we are also going to supercharge our L&D game. It is not a normal L&D people that we are going to be. Kita bukan L&D yang biasa-biasa. We need to supercharge our game. So we need to supercharge our energy. We need to supercharge our processes, make it better, look into forward, and attach to the business results that I've shared with you last week, last session. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because by having a proper L&D is going to be, it's time for you to dive and unlock the full potential of your team. Looking into your team members, there must be a reason why person A and person B has different competencies. And L&D has that element of identifying potential or unleashing potential, discover, looking into people, A, looking into people, how can we develop that people better? We need to give challenge. L&D also needs to go strategic elements into giving challenges to our people so that they can be better day by day. Jangan bagi dia dalam comfort zone, because become when we are in comfort zone, we are not going to we're not going to be developed. We are going to be status quo. Jadi sebab tu, ladies and gentlemen, let's supercharge our game. So looking at that, these three elements is the foundation and introduction of this session, looking into how we can look into more deep in our team, how we can supercharge our team, and also to look into the holistic approach of training. So ladies and gentlemen, foundation, what would be the principles of TNA? Okay. Principles ni macam ni. Kenapa foundation and also principles is very critical and crucial? Because principle ni dia ada certain principle that are going to happen, to hold on, so that process will be realized. Dan kita boleh buat tu kerana principle itu berlaku. So without these principles, we are not going to be able to do anything or whatever that we want to achieve effectively. In this particular process is about training needs analysis. So kita tahu bahawa TNA adalah satu elemen that is very powerful, but how we are going to do that? So these are the basis of the principles of TNA. I would like to bring you to an analogy of unravel the mystery of effective TNA. Kan? TNA ni misteri tau. Because dia muncul masa bila? Dia muncul hujung tahun, dia muncul di awal tahun. It's not going to be a process that you are going to do every day, every time, every month. Bukan. You are going to do once in a year. Dan sometimes ada organisation tak buat pun TNA. Because dia kata this our learning program, our training program is very dynamic, very fluid, as and when required, so we are going to have that to be done. So the challenge is that dalam TNA ni misteri kan, because of TNA ni is already being done not every time. So dia akan buat as a planning session. So I'm bringing you a perspective of the principles of training, TNA. Saya bagi sedikit akronim lah for us too easy to remember kan. Kalau saya tak bagi akronim, kadang saya pun lupa. Biasalah kan, dah umur banyak kan. So I'm giving you an acronym of acronym pula, a simple analogy of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. We need to, TNA is not a guesswork. As I have mentioned to you, TNA ni bukan satu guesstimation. Kita ingat benda tu simple kan, tapi sebenarnya it can be simple as and also it can be structured. So by understanding the principles of effective analysis, you are going to be able to uncover the true training needs. So kita kena memakai topi seperti seorang detektif, a solid detective foundation, because it's a starting point. Remember, our amanah, our responsibility is to, as a fund manager for the training fund. The training fund, I've mentioned last session, kita ada HRDC as our training fund, kita ada non-HRDC if you have other budget in your training department or in your company other than HRDC for the training fund. So we are managing that fund, managing with very high diligent actions and activities. Kita kena tengok betul-betul that particular fund macam mana untuk kita gunakan. So you need to wear this Sherlock Holmes punya topi supaya you have that solid foundation, solid detective foundation. Kita nak kena buat sedikit analisis. Nama pun analisis kan. It's not merely just putting the training programs. Bukan hanya sekadar letak training program and that's it. Bukan. It's going to look into how we can deep dive into unleashing the potential of people. So saya ulang balik, unleashing potential and the power of TNA is together. Dua-dua together. So by looking at that, I'm giving you this acronym of VCD. VCD kan, dulu ada nama VCD, sekarang dah tak ada kan, DVD lah kan, sekarang VCD. Okay. So number one, the principle of validation. Yang dalam kita ambil contoh, saya tak tahu whether kita tahu tak Sherlock Holmes? Sherlock Holmes ni kan satu investigator, satu film movie investigation, ya, dia macam mana cara dia buat. So number one ialah bila kita buat satu-satu investigation, we need to get the validation of that particular program with the stakeholders. So siapa stakeholders kita? Stakeholders can come from your C-suite, can comes from your heads of department. It can also be your employees, your focus group discussion. So ini adalah your stakeholders. So you need to get the validation from them. Jangan shot sendiri. Jangan tengok, oh these are the list of programs, shoot that particular training programs to everybody and expecting they are going to attend. No, stop. Get the buy-in from them. Have a discussion with the stakeholders. Kalau kita boleh sampai ke C-suite, is better. If not, head of department, head of division pun okay. So you are going to gain the stakeholders buy-in. Bila kita get some validation, you are going to get the buy-in from the stakeholders that these are the training programs that are going to be relevant to your people. And these are the training budgets that are going to allocate to your division and also department. So you need to have this validation and stakeholder buy-in first. Kalau bukan first pun, last pun tak apa. Tapi at least stakeholder validation is part of the principles of TNA. So that's number one. Number two, dalam Sherlock Holmes punya movie kan, ataupun cerita pasal investigation kan. Mana-mana cerita investigation, if you see, the critical point is that when you gathering clues, bila kita buat sedikit, kita mencari clue-clue yang ada, kita mencari data yang ada. That's what I mean about data collection. Because Sherlock Holmes cannot solve a case without gathering enough clues. Kita nak buat satu penyiasatan, nak mencari satu case, we cannot get it done without any clue. So by looking into gathering clues or data collection in this TNA punya moment is very critical, because clues equate to data about the skills, competencies and performance levels of your employees. So macam mana nak gunakan? This data actually is going to be dig down by you as L&D. You're going to look into how can you have this data collection methods. There are many ways of it. Nanti saya akan tunjuk lepas ni some of the ways of you to collect some data, and you need to do it as simple as possible. Jangan jadikan ia terlalu complicated until you need to do data collection. I always say, do not be too analytical until you paralyze. Too analysis until you paralyze. Jangan jadi macam tu. So you need to gather efficient data, effective data collection method. There are some ways of doing it. Nanti saya akan share after this, so that you are going to get an increasing rate of the training programs to be implemented. So no wonder rupa-rupanya selama ni bila kita buat TNA, kita just bagi orang tak datang, ataupun datang but the company is not improving. Pelik tu. So stop doing just guesstimation. Let us go into the serious matter of L&D. Let us go into a more serious moment where we are going to deep dive into TNA and do some analysis. And number 4 is about deduction. Deduction ni is not, is because one case scenario that I can remember, when we give a set, when we give the flexibility to the division or department to submit their training needs, they are going to list down everything. Dia going to list down, dia akan senaraikan semua program yang dia rasakan penting, dan juga mungkin ada penting, mungkin ada yang tidak penting. Isu dia sekarang, let's say we only have 10,000 ringgit je kita punya training fund kan, yang dia submit sampai 1 million ringgit tu, macam mana caranya? So that is why we as LND, you need to do some deduction, you need to do some needs analysis on that. You need to look into the TNA and taking all the data and make sense of it. Sebab ada di antara training tu ataupun any interventions yang dia submit, it is not required. Contoh kan, let's say kalau dia kata dia nak attend NLP lah, Neuro Linguistic Programming, and they are requesting to attend a certified program. Saya selalu cakap pasal ni. You need to identify whether you do you really need certified, because certification program kan, certification program is very expensive. So do you really need certified? So why people attending any certification program? There must be a reason kan. Contoh kan, dia attend TTT HRDC to conduct training for the people and to claim HRDC. Why do you attend project management certification in project management, PMP ke PMO kan, PMBOK ke? So why do you attend that? It's because that you want to have that level of credibility, so that when people ask you, are you certified project manager? So you can say yes, and it increase your credibility for doing your work. So everything is related to your work. Kalau NLP is a certification program and it requires people to attend because of they are going to train people in NLP, they're going to be a practitioner of NLP, so please do it. Otherwise, tak perlu pun certification program. It just need awareness and also knowledge basis of that particular program. So by looking at that, you need to reduce some of the program that they have submitted to you and do the analysis. So let us be the Sherlock Holmes and master the principles of TNA. You need to wear the hat of detective skills. You need to look into solving the training needs mystery. When they meet you, Zul, I think we need a training for these people. So you need to be a detective to ask more questions and to confirm with them whether this is the real training that drive impactful results. So that is why becoming the Sherlock Holmes of L&D with the NA principles is very critical and very important. So this is the 3 principles that I'm sharing with you. So stick this with your current practices first. If you have other principles, please proceed. If you don't have any principles of TNA, this might help you. Validation, gathering clues, and also deduction for the needs analysis. All right. So after we look into the principles of TNA, kita tahu dah, okay, now we have a firm belief that TNA is a must. Kita mesti buat TNA. Without fail, we need to do TNA, a proper TNA, intensive TNA, because we have this fund that we want to manage. We need to manage this training fund well. So macam mana cara untuk kita buat? There are some processes and steps in TNA. So kalau tengok daripada proses ni, it actually like I would like to put some connection, because TNA process is your recipe for training success. Kan? Kita nak masak, we have a recipe of doing tom yum. So by having this recipe of doing nak masak tom yum ni, you need to have that recipe is sufficient enough for you to use, and then you are going to produce tom yum. Kalau you ada resipi untuk buat ikan singgang, ikan singgang, Lepas tu you nak produce tom yum. That is really a totally different process. So you need to choose the right process so that you can have a success of whatever that you want to achieve. So I'm going to share with you my process. This is a simple process that I look into training needs analysis. Actually, if you search in the internet, there are many processes. So for us, we look into these three simple process. Number one is about business case. Number two is about performance metrics. And number three is about program logistics. These are the three elements of P&A processes. So there are some processes like people might start with the organizational goals, and then we go into design the training process, looking into the creating the L&D content, implement the L&D plan, and sometimes people also look into evaluate and update. So there are different of processes that you can follow. However, whatever processes that you are doing, like this is our process. We our proposed elements for people to go through on training needs analysis is about how you identify business case. We are going to refer, kita masih lagi refer ataupun refer kepada business results. Itu paling critical, paling penting untuk refer pada business case. Yang kedua adalah to look into the performance metrics. Performance metrics tu juga kena ada some gauge. Kita kena evaluate our performance. When we conduct a training session, do the performance improve? Do the skills being transferred? So that there are some of the question needs to be done. And number three is about program logistic. So among these three, kebanyakan daripada L&D, dia straight away terus pergi pada logistik. Kan? Makan, minum, berapa kos, semualah cerita pasal kos sahaja. In actual fact, they need to do that business case scenario first. So sebab tu, saya nak, our proposal to you is that avoid doing pancakes. Pancakes ni just tindih saja apa-apa yang ada. Jangan tindih-tindih because we need to have this DNA process so that you can have impressive results of the training. Boosting business results through training activities. So we need to ensure that the training programs that we are doing is also supporting the business. So kalau pancake ni, kalau macam illustration pancake ni just sama je daripada atas sampai bawah, boring. So you need to have a variety of training programs. You need to have a variety of learning methodologies, training methodologies. So ada face-to-face, there are some online learning, there are some simulations during face-to-face, ada some infographic that you're going to share with your people through email, through LMS, through LXP. You have role-playing during your session. You have also case studies. So ada pelbagai. So janganlah hanya sekadar depending only face-to-face. I know that face-to-face is very required right now, tapi it is not the only training methodology that you can use. There are many other ways. Ada banyak lagi. So we need to find that options. So bawa tentang makanan ni, so you need to be a master chef of your training program. You have the training, you have already your training requirement, and you have done your analysis, so you need to design. Kan, banyak mana akan pergi pada face to face, banyak mana pergi pada online, banyak mana you need to submit for in-house training program, how many that you want to allocate for public training program, conference, seminars, workshops, simulation, case studies, project. So this is a variety of training needs analysis or outcomes that you can do. So become the master chef of L&D by mastering the training process, and with the recipe of success, you will be able to create a training program that leaves lasting impact. So training yang ada tu kita akan menjadikan lebih berkesan. So remember, kalau kita buat satu-satu program tu, we need to have that element of detective investigation and also master chef. Ada Sherlock Holmes, ada master chef dah figure hari ni. Ada 2 figure dah ni. So by having that, you are going to have a comprehensive blend of your analytical thinking and creative thinking. Kedua-duanya ada elemen kat sana. Alright, so now we are going to into data collection and also methods and also techniques. Sometimes people think that data collection methods and techniques ni needs to be tak semestinya kan. Tak semestinya data collection ni mesti disembunyikan ataupun tak diberitahu, susah nak buat. We need to find ways in collecting data. So ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is that looking into data, so we need to find effective methods and techniques for gathering the DNA data. Imagine if you are going to catch a fish, you want to catch fish dekat laut, dekat sungai, anything. By using appropriate tool, you will be able to catch the right fish and ensure that your training program is well informed. Kita nak dapatkan data yang betul. So you need to find the right method and techniques for you to get the data. If you want to catch a fish, you need to use the right tool for you to catch a fish. So do not swing a tennis racket for you to catch a fish. Memang kedua-duanya tak sama lah kan. Kalau you are doing T&A, your method should look into the data that exists in your organization. You cannot benchmark, you cannot take data that is available in other companies and plug into your company, because other company may have different business target, business results. You have your own business results and business targets. There's a different elements over there, even though you are in the same industry. So tak boleh lah ambil list training program dalam company A that you think that training program is very impactful. You think that the program is very sophisticated, canggih kan. Ambil training list, bawa kepada training company kita. Tak boleh. You cannot do that because you need to have the right tools and methodologies to gather the data so that you can get the right fish. And that fish is the business results. Jadi kalau tak menggunakan cara untuk dapatkan data yang betul, you are not going to get the right fish. Tak dapatlah business results kan. So make sure that you are using the right tools for the job to ensure that training program is effective. So data collection ni sebenarnya catching the fish with the right net. Kita nak tengok cara dia bagaimana untuk kita tangkap ikan tu. Kita nak find the real reason for people to attend training and what are the training programs eventually that we want to propose to the organization is going to be correlate with the business results. The benchmark is like this, ladies and gentlemen. I always see that if we do training programs, we have a set of training programs that we propose to our management. If we do all, not even though it is not all, might be some of that training programs, and it correlates with the business performance and it improves the results of the business performance, I should say that our proposal is quite good. Congratulations. Kalau kita tengok training program kita tu, when we propose and it correlates with the business results, it is positively increase of the business results, that's very good. Kalau lah kita buat training program and the business result is going down, there must be a gap between our support as L&D to the company referring to the business results. So that is why we need to find the right way for you to identify apakah dia cara untuk capture the data. So some of the methodologies data to capture. Number one, you might want to consider to do a questionnaire or survey. So by having this questionnaire and survey, you can administer the survey to your employees to gather information of their training needs and preferences. I think this might be a common methods that you're using right now. Ini mungkin cara yang biasa. Dan using questionnaires ni juga, you are going to identify apakah dia sebenarnya competencies gap coming from that particular person. yang ini you need to be careful because sometimes people think that they are highly competent, so no need to attend any training. So that is why some organization, some case studies that I've seen, they do a 360-degree of questionnaire. The employees is giving feedback which part of their competencies has gap, yang lepas tu dia punya superior pun bagi, dia punya peers pun akan bagi. If it is good enough, you can have your clients to support kalau dia kenal staff tu lah. So it's a 360, almost 360 or 180 degree questionnaire ataupun survey. So this survey is going to give you quite good inputs for you to draft your TNA. So bukanlah kita hanya minta, bukan bagi list dan dia bagi nama. It's not like that. Number two is through work observation. Work observation, that is why L&D is not supposed to be only in your office. You need to go to the ground as well. You need to look, you need to have some observation. If you cannot do observation, you can ask the head of department or division to observe. So what would be some of the areas that the training may be required, may be needed? And you can also do, last time I share about job shadowing, right? Shadowing employees during their daily tasks. Bila kita shadowkan tu, we can understand their skills gap. And also you can do job observation to assess the performance and also identify areas for improvement by looking, by observation. Number three is about, you may also conduct interviews. Either you want to conduct interviews with the employee, however, might be it is very difficult for you to do that. I would also propose that you conduct a simple interview, maybe 5 minutes interview, as paling lama pun 5 minit, with the head of division, with the head of sections, the people that knows their people yang dia punya downline, dia punya subordinates. Interview their subject matter experts. It is also going to help you to understand the competencies gap of the people. And you may also do focus group interviews. You can see at any year, there will be a strategic objective, strategic team to achieve business results. For example, you are going to achieve X million of revenue. So there must be a project or a group that are going to do certain projects to achieve that particular business result. So you can do a focus group interview for this particular group and identify the training needs. And number three is about examining work. You can see about, you can go into the workplace, the actual workplace, the manufacturing of the business, the elements of administrative. You can look into their job descriptions, their performance evaluation, and also work process. So you can look into these details if you have people that is supporting you. And last but not least, this is also another source of data methodology that you want to find, is about doing some assessments. This might not be to or everybody. You might want to do these assessments for a certain number of people. Let's say if you're doing this for your top talent, kan, top talent, you need to identify the competencies gap, how you want to develop them. You want to have a suitable training program for this particular top talent, so you can do assessment for you to identify. So by having this, ladies and gentlemen, saya cuma nak highlight tentang 5 perkara yang saya sebutkan tadi. Number one, do survey, that's a normal. Work observation, the interview, the examining work, and also the assessment. The methodology, the data collection that you can gather from all of this is very enormous and very outstanding. And the purpose of we collect this data is about to have the right decision. Decision apa? Decision for you to eventually to propose the training program. You need to have this justification. Tapi nampak macam berat, sebenarnya. However, you know best which part of your organization is going to be able to contribute the data easily. Ada setengah organisation senang dengan survey, ada yang senang dengan assessment, ada yang senang dengan Whatever easy and impactful enough. So do not make it too complicated. Survey pun soalan janganlah sampai 100 muka surat, memang takkan ada orang jawab lah kan kat situ. So you need to identify the suitable number of survey. So the basis of data, I would like to propose that you must have a competency gap analysis. Any way that you want to find it, apa cara sekalipun, you need to have that competency gap analysis through your people, through your heads of division, through your C-suites, through the heads of companies. So anybody that you can identify, you need to have that competency gap analysis. If you don't have that competency gap analysis, you need to find ways in doing it. You can do in phases, you can do in projects, you can do it in certain number of months. Tak semestinya you can do everything in one time. Memang tak boleh. So you need to reflect your L&D strategies. Look back into L&D strategies. Whether your L&D has competencies, your organization has competencies. If they have competencies, do they have core competencies and also functional competencies? So if they have that, it's easier for you because you can go to the next step, which is identifying the gap. If you don't have the right competencies, the core competencies, any competencies in your organization, it's quite difficult for you to identify the gap. So you need to backtrack for a little bit and looking in developing it. So having this competencies gap, is going to support you in terms of giving some information on the data collection. Okay. Right. Now, we are going to look into the next part, which is implementation of this DNA. This is the last part, which is transforming analysis into action. Because whatever data that we have, sometimes you put the data in Excel, sometimes you put it in charts. Whatever data that you have, you need to convert that charts to action. You need to look into that data and to convert that into what would be your proposed learning L&D interventions, which is sometimes we see most of it is about training program, and sometimes you want to allocate a bit about the non-training program. You know the 70-20 rule? Kan? Tahu kan? 70-20 rule. Saya type sekejap. I'm going to answer question nanti selepas daripada ni. Ya. 70-20-10 rule. Rules ke? Rules lah. Saya tak rules lah. 70-20-10. 70 is about on the job training. 20 is about coaching mentoring. 10 is about classroom. So that's a 70-20-10 rules. So looking at that, you need to identify from the analysis which are going to be in that 10 ratio of 10, which one is going to be in the ratio of 20, which one going to be in the ratio of 70. So you need to convert that charts into actions, because implementation of TNA is like you are steering a boat, a ship of training success. You are looking into how you can use TNA to guide your efforts and implementing the targeted training program, and you are going to navigate the waters of L&D and drive impactful results. You are looking into how you can use this as the basis so that you are not going to go blind. Contoh macam kita bawa kapal kan dekat atas laut, tak tahu lah kalau tuan pernah bawa kapal, saya tak pernah, tapi but steering a ship, you need to have some guidance. Kita nak tuju ke mana kan, sebab kapal tak ada signboard, tak ada macam dekat highway. So you need to have a guide. So what would be the guide in TNA? What will be guide for you to move forward and to be successful in training L&D? TNA is a start for you to do it. And by having that TNA, you are going to have the opportunity to navigate the waters of your new sea. And then you are going to discover, oh, rupa-rupanya ada banyak lagi training programs that that you need to introduce to your people, because these training programs are being done, being extracted, being discovered by having a certain process, and it's going to guide your efforts and anchoring your program in solid analysis. You are going to be able to navigate the waters of L&D. Kita akan dapat tengok nanti, not every year is going to be the same training program, because every year we are going to have different business target results. If you are doing the same training program for the current business results, it might be good because it's going to achieve the current business results. Next year is going to be a different business results. Maybe more target, more amount, shorter time frame, maybe more initiative, more projects. So your training programs cannot be done, cannot taking the last year training programs for next year. I also understand that some organization is doing the TNA for every 2 years, might be every 3 years. You can have that that strategy if your organization is stable enough, mature enough, which is your company has a target for every 2 years, or for every 3 years. So you can follow that process, the number of years, by having to set the TNA. So this TNA is going to be for the next 3 years. So can, boleh lah. For dynamic and fluid organization, you might want to do every year. Or you can also go into reviewing the TNA process, reviewing the TNA outputs because of changing of direction. So that's the overall of TNA which we are looking at. And as a conclusion, dah habis sampai hujung dah pun. As a conclusion, what we are going to see is that TNA is not just about identifying specific training needs for your team. You need to have a bigger picture, helicopter view, and understanding the broader impact of the training efforts. You cannot just aim for a list of training programs. I would like to propose to you to aim for getting the people to be developed and achieve the business results that we are going at. So by reflecting on the impact of TDA, we are going to be able to find a remarkable results and unlock the full potential of our team. Number 2 is about TNA is one of the initiative that being done by L&D is to connect the dots of competency and also the competencies gap. If you identify a person that has a competency gap, you need to find a suitable training or interventions to map with the gap. It is also about professional growth. How you develop people to be better in their things and following the growth of their career in your organization. It's going to support your people about how we can develop our people. So it's about connecting the dots. And number 3 is about the constellation of DNA. It's about constellation ni kalau dalam astronomy is a group of stars that has some patterns. So each department and each division dia ada dia punya own pattern of TNA. Kalau if you're saying about operational department and also marketing and sales department, dia punya pattern different, cannot be similar. So you need to also identify what would be the pattern of this division and also department. By doing what we have discussed earlier tentang process, tentang principles, you are going to find TNA will help you better in this constellation of TNA. You need to find a beacon of potential. Setiap daripada seorang yang ada kat dalam department division tu, ada dia punya own requirement of competencies gap. So you need to put that in a system where system tu bukanlah nak kata sistem canggih sangat kan. You can use Excel, you can use any of system that you have in your organization. letakkan di dalam setiap division department tu what they need. So that is why, as I've mentioned, I've quoted about if you want to catch the fish, the right fish, you need to use the right tool. So by having that, you have a structured elements of TNA, and you can connect the dots of the people that inside your organization. So that's how I'm looking at into this TNA. So there are some questions that I see. Mirza is asking about, is there any systematic structured tools, app systems to conduct gap analysis between the expected and actual performance? There are some system that we can use, and usually people are using this throughout an assessment. Dia buat assessment tool. Assessment tool ni banyak. If you're looking into that personality assessment tools, that's one part. If you're looking into functional assessment, it should be customized to your organization. So tool tu kena customize kepada organization tu sendiri, because tak semua organization akan ada the same functional requirements. So generic requirements or assessment can be identified through several tools, several assessment. Kalau saya nak bagi contoh, might be taking into the personality, there are some elements of, let's say, you can see about MBTI, you can see about DISC, even colored brain communication inventory juga salah satu daripada genetic thinking process pattern boleh digunakan. So it's going to identify ada lagi ya, yang saya sebut tadi lah, MBTI dengan DISC itu, it going to discover and mapping the competencies and also the job. Saya lupa satu assessment yang saya pernah buat dulu. Lupalah, nanti saya recall balik. But that assessment is going to identify the gap related to the job profile. So we have our people, dia ada job description, dia ada job specification kan. So based on that, it converts that into a job profile. Kita convert dalam satu job profile. So A ada job profile, B ada job profile, C ada job profile masing-masing. So and then we do this assessment. Saya lupa betul nama assessment tu apa. We do this assessment. Lepas kita buat assessment ni, dia akan mapkan dengan job profile. So dia akan identify which part of this job profile is still having bigger gap or close gap. So ini adalah one of the tools that saya pernah tengok. Ada juga tools yang tajma assessment, tak silap saya nama tu. Itu that's for non-executive. So ada banyak lagi So there are some tools for you to use. How to establish competency dictionary as a guide to establish expected performance. It's a competency development initiative. So kompetensi itu sendiri, nak hasilkan kompetensi itu pun it reflects some processes. Ada panjang, kalau saya cerita kat sini tak habis kan. Tapi it starts with each job description and job analysis that we done for each position. So daripada situ we are going to establish a competency based on that. To support the job, we need to have competency. And based on that competency, we are going to have some definition and description of that competency. Then we are going to do the competency dictionary with some behavioral indicators or behavioral evidence to show that if this behavior being demonstrated by that person, it is going to comply, it's going to support that competency gap. It's going to support that competency. So itulah dia a process of that competency gap. It is possible if do TNA for staff answer through a form, question or list. From that we can identify what they need to enhance the skill. So that's this by filling in the form. Yeah, we are going to follow the concept of questionnaire and also survey, which is part of the part of the tools for us to gather data. However, if we get the data coming just from the employee, it's not going to be sufficient enough. Why? Because we also need to relate with the business. We also need to relate with the direction of the company for that particular year or for that number of years that you're doing the TNA. So our proposal is that still engaging with the head of division, head of department, or in the matter of C-suite is very meaningful for you to have a comprehensive information in getting that particular data to correlate with the business and to produce the training programs from the TNA. So by looking into e-form or questions, survey is going to be part of it. However, it is not just sufficient only for it. We would like to propose that do it also for by having some discussion with the heads of department or heads of company. So if you are looking into to explore more TNA, I would like to also propose if you want to consider, kalau nak tahu lebih lanjut tentang our STAR program, it's a strategic training analysis for remarkable results. I'm going to bring this program in 27 and 28 of November. If you want to have your team, yourself, or anybody that you want to benefit from this program, it is very beneficial because it's the moment for you to develop the TNA program starts from scratch. So eventually, hujung of this second day, you are going to have your ATP annual training plan. Sebab it's a workshop based, so that you can also look into how you can bring your case and put into the program, go through together with me, and we are going to finalize the annual training plan for your company. So this might help you into getting the unleashing the potential program and unleashing the potential of your people through training needs analysis. So ladies and gentlemen, that's for today. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can always ask me. You can also message me. I think you have the connection. We have another session of the Start Talk next 2 weeks. Please attend. This is a sharing session as well. And I really hope that whatever that I have shared today is something that is beneficial for you. So remember to respond to our feedback form so that we can respond to you back with the notes. So we are going to give these notes to you for you to have some reference as our sharing for you to consider. This is a sharing session, and we are looking into how you can make it better. Oh, saya tak tunjuk tadi screen saya pasal ni pasal training. Sebenarnya this is the program that I'm saying at the STAR program, Strategic Training Analysis for Remarkable Results. So I'm going to share with you this content as well, so that you can look into it, and if you think that this program is suitable for you and also your team or for other people, please share. Otherwise, you can share this information with other people. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this session. I hope that this is beneficial for you. Thank you for all. Thank you very much. That's the end of session for today. We will communicate with you again. We will send these notes for your consideration, for your reference. Thank you very much for everybody for everything. That's all for now. We are going to end our session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and see you again. My pleasure.